Aloha and welcome to Java. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to March. This is for March 1st, 2024. There's quite a bit to go over today, so as always, going to start right in. And the first thing is our main risk indicator has dropped significantly. We're still in high territory, but since yesterday, basically what happened is we got the PCE report, and on the back of that, the 10-year yield and relative strength of the dollar dropped significantly. So when these go down, it allows money to flow into the stock market, basically everything going green. We've got futures still relatively green, but a bit mixed. So right now we've got the sentiment is that the US dollar relative strength 10-year yield are saying risk on. However, they are kind of at a point where I expect reversal. We could see a bit of correction. It's Friday, so volatility, particularly towards the end of the day when volume increases the last hour of trading between basically 2:30, 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time for the United States. So in our calendar today, we're watching the PMI. I don't expect that to be as moving as yesterday's PCE, but still something to watch nonetheless, not long after market open, 9:45, 10 o'clock. So yesterday, the NASDAQ hit a new record all-time high. Since 2021 high close, just showing the money flowing back into stocks again. We've also got oil rising 1% because they're expecting the OPEC decision is going to maintain tight supply. We've also got heightened demand from not just China, but also the Eurozone. So many of you, we've been talking about Bitcoin and also how the government has been holding some, and we've got proof now. A lot of people have been saying that, I'm kind of off the wall for this. However, they're telling you not to own it. They're telling you not to buy it, that it's not good. They're regulating the heck out of it through the SEC. And yet yesterday they moved 922 million of Bitcoin that they had seized once it hit this high price. So I've been telling you, the United States government, among others, owns a large amount of Bitcoin. So with that moving into banking and the economy, yesterday that PCE did show that prices rose in January, but also that retail and spending is cooling. So we've got kind of this double showing a little bit more of where we're headed. However, it's kind of heading into the whole rate cut narrative. We've got more on this because they must cut at the same time or after the ECB, Bank of England, as well. So the ECB cutting too soon would be worse than delaying. Talking about the survey that they've got, basically what they're talking about is if they cut too soon, they risk hyperinflation. And that's the real risk of what's going on. We've got German inflation slowing further, backing the ECB's rate cut plan, talking about that they're not going to cut too soon. So that's where they're standing right now, is holding off on their cuts. I think June might be in play, July, but I really don't think they're going to cut, not in March. So we'll see if that changes unless there's something significant, which always can happen. So with that, let's look into the real issue of what they're worried about at the moment. That's commercial real estate loans. So New York Community Bancorp back in the news. They have had both of their CEOs have left. Another, they've got their new disclosures that have come out and quote unquote identifying material weaknesses in the company's internal controls related to internal loan review. Investors want out because now basically they see that they are not going to be getting their money back after what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. Uh, and in general, the willingness of banks and systems now to confiscate their money, there's no guarantees. So we've got another one. RBC is confident can turn around City National, but not right away. So much more weakness and crack showing. Deutsche Bank to file a liquidation suit against Chinese developer Ximao. Um, this is now, again, they're trying to go after any source of money that they can, and the developers that have the commercial loans, more weakness. So moving on from the banks, we've got Microsoft, OpenAI, and NVIDIA backing a $2.6 billion robot startup. So artificial intelligence coupled with these robots, they're planning on flooding the labor market with these. And they're saying that this also includes funding from Jeff Bezos. So if Amazon is planning on holding the storage for these, it could be quite interesting. So, of course, main competition with this is Elon Musk. So, launching legal action against ChatGPT Open AI. Basically, this is about OpenAI, but he's also touting Optimus as his robot with artificial intelligence against this. But this lawsuit is alleging that the startup's original mission to build artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity has been compromised. So the whole Sam Altman thing blowing up all over again. So with this EV space electric vehicle not doing so well, Tesla is rolling out new incentives in China. They're also dropping prices on most of their models in the United States. And now we've got Ford slashing their prices. So they had a drop of over 50% in sales. And we were talking about how they are coming up with excuses of why they're halting production lines. They're saying temporarily, but really what that comes down to is until they can clear the lots of their existing inventory. So we've got President US administration looking at a June deadline for the Russian assets plan, going back to the confiscation. So they have been discussing confiscating billions of dollars from Russia, basically, and giving it to Ukraine for the war. So both UK and Canada advocate the seizure of these sovereign assets for Russia. However, France and Germany are against this. So more about this in a moment on how Russia stands with this. We know they're pushing war. This is all highly inflationary still with everything that's going on, and it's all by design. So we've got France's President Macron standing by his remarks that he would put basically troops, physical troops, into Ukraine. And most of the French country does not support this. So the people of France are not in agreement. So more news on this. Newest NATO member, Helsinki, is now saying that they have supplied long-range weaponry to Ukraine and telling them that they can use it however they like to attack Russia on their own home soil. And this goes against what has been going on. You can supply long-range weapons, but it has to come with restrictions. So in war, still a gentleman's war. But Helsinki is kind of stepping over that line. And I've got a link here with a few things. So in response, we've got Putin saying that the West in general is flirting with nuclear war. He's not kidding. So he's saying the escalation and what is going on between what the US and European Union officials are saying is betraying their lack of understanding of what is at stake. He's fully willing and able to protect basically what he sees as the Russian nation, however, is needed. So with this, I've got one more development with military, basically in the research and development. This about global hawk drones for hypersonic testing. So these drones, if you look, they're unmanned. So a lot of this forward looking is stacked with surveillance equipment, whether it's infrared. Um, in this case, they're looking at detecting hypersonic tests, multiple things. But these drones are unmanned and can also be used internally, domestically. How do I say this? Spying on its own citizens. Illegal, yes, but is it done? Are two different things. So anyway, they are kind of outfitting these, upping the production of these, and just to let you know what is coming forward. So with this, we've got a couple of warnings. We've got Whitney Webb. If you are not familiar with her, I'm leaving this link here. And then also, I'm going to try to leave it in the description. Hopefully, it won't get hit for spamming or non-content use. So as long as if you need to hold this and get this, you might want to watch this. I strongly recommend it. So we've got Meta, which is Facebook basically saying it will stop funding news in Australia. And this should open your eyes if they're not already. Although if you're here, you probably already are if you're a new viewer. These tech companies are basically running all of the news. Everything you see, everything you're going to hear is guided by tech sectors and controlled by the governments. We've got Facebook parent Meta targeted privacy complaints by European Union consumer groups. So not related, but very related, because this is just showing what they're doing with your data. So completely collecting your data, seeing what you want to do, and then tailoring the news for their purpose. So one more warning that I would like to put out is that a lot of this will unravel very rapidly. And what we have is the number one defense against this, if you will. Get to know your neighbors, get to know your community, because when this all comes down, and if things are shut off, when the internet doesn't work, people will be coming outside their doors, asking each other what's going on. So build those relationships now. I believe that is probably the most important thing that we need to start doing, other than stacking, of course, private assets, gold, silver, food, ammunition, if you will, for security or whatever else it is that you need. So, with this, I wish you all a wonderful day, my friends. Wonderful weekend. Until I see you again, stay free.